Well, folks, here we are. Got some silver in the ToAuto furnace, getting her up to temperature. I already ran the Crucible through a heat cycle, pulled it up to 500 and let it sit there for about 15 minutes or so. And now we're taking it up to 1100. I got she's starting to get warm in there, starting to do its thing. Actually, already starts like it looks like it's starting to melt some of the scraps that I took off of some of the ring shavings. Wow, I don't think it's melting. It's just the shot reflecting. But yeah, first time with the silver in here. I'll keep you posted. I did weigh it on the scale. I had a phone call, so I was occupied. Wasn't able to use my camera, but my smaller pour, I filled it up with shot, and it came out to 25.77 of an ounce, and the other are grams, and the bigger one weighed 35.35, and these are the molds that I'm going to be pouring into. I took some baby powder and put in there, swished it all around, and then blew it out with the torch. So yeah, waiting for this thing to get up to heat. Got some new lights in the shop, and it's doing pretty good in here now. I got pretty good film quality. Can't wait for this guy to get up to temperature, and then we'll come back whenever we're getting ready to pour. All right, we're back here checking out the silver. It has come up to temperature. Got us a little something floating around in there, but it looks just like water. That is amazing. See if I can pull this off. Go for the smaller one first. I think I'm going to have to put it back in there and remelt it. Took too long. Not bad for my first pour, I do say. It's kind of fat on the back. I'm not sure if I'm going to have enough for the second one, but I think that's pretty cool.
I was anticipating for it to be under an ounce.
But it still came out to be quite a nice pour. Got some details that it could be a little better. Silver heart. My first silver pour. And then a half a heart. Second attempt at a silver pour. That's kind of had an air bubble or something in there, it looks like. Didn't seat all the way, it like popped up out of the mold. But I think that one turned out pretty good. Little air bubble on the left-hand side. But I think that was part of the feature of the mold. And it just got blown out a little bit. Well, folks, thanks for watching. 3D Woodworks first pour. It was pretty much all the silver I got back out of it. So we'll see what it says in grams. So if we look at ounces troy, I am 1.29 ounces troy. If we go back to grams, that was about 5 grams over my, well, that was about 15 grams over my target. And yeah, well, I learned something. All right, gonna get it this time. Well, my name is Uncle Sam. My name's not Uncle Sam. All right. go. I added a little bit more silver to it. I think it's just not enough. So get this done as quickly as possible. I think that's the key. I think that's the one right there. Flip this over and see what we got. Bring it over to the weighing table. See what we got on this one. Turned out okay. But a little off center on the pour. Nothing, a little bit of grinding and such ought to deal with. We'll get her looking good. So now we have go to grams. We got 30 grams. And what I added was one of these 0.55 grams. Those are the punches that come out of a ring when I make a coin ring out of bullion round. And I also added about 7, so that brings it back up, yeah, to about 30, and this one here was 40 and 30. So I'm going to trim this up a little bit along this edge, and we'll see how it looks when I'm done. All right. I think the first one just came out great. All I need to do is stamp it. For a first pour, not bad. So I can't really call this my second, because it was actually the 5th attempt. I had to add silver 2 times. So that's what it's getting there. I made that. All right, folks, so here's the end result. My first attempt to pour silver, I put 2 ounces and about 5 grams, maybe 6 grams worth of silver into the crucible, and I was going to pour 2 different molds. This mold being the bigger one, and this mold being the smaller one. This was advertised to be a 1 ounce mold, and this was advertised to be a 2.5 ounce mold. And the first thing I did was I was going to pour the small mold, and this is how the first pour came out. It came out pretty good if I don't, for my first pour. It has a nice little rounded top to it. Has nice shine to it. I haven't even polished it or nothing. That's just the way it came out. And it ended up weighing, this is ounces troy, 1.28 ounces troy. And then I had a little bit left over. It was about 20 grams. Then I added some more silver to it and got it up to about 30 grams. I think it was 25 grams is what I was targeting to fill up this mold when I filled it up with shot and had it ready. And 25 grams I think is just going to be too little. This little piece here ends up being 30 grams. And I think if I do the full 1 ounce, that would be pretty good. But I do like the way that this one here turned out with the rounded top. I'm probably going to remelt this one down. This was actually the 5th attempt. I kept adding a little bit more silver and a little bit more silver because it was filling up only a small portion, and then it would fill up half, and then I got it to where it would fill the whole thing without splashing out over the edge. And so yeah, that's my first attempt at pouring some fine silver. I was really happy with this, and I thought, dang, that was easy. But that was when I had an excess amount in my crucible, and I was able to stop pouring whenever I wanted to. And then it was like as if when you don't have enough to pour the whole thing in one shot and you're leery about stopping, you almost hold back. I was holding back, and it would take too long for the silver to run down the crucible, not being hot on the end. And it was getting hard too fast. So I think next time I'm gonna try to heat the lip of the crucible with the torch as I'm pouring, and try to get better at pouring with one hand. We'll see how the next one turns out. That's all the time I got for this weekend. Play around with this stuff. Got to make a couple videos, and got to pour some silver. It was a good weekend. Maybe next weekend we'll get to pour this. Or maybe even we'll melt some copper and pour this bigger heart with copper. So we can have a smaller heart for silver and a bigger heart for copper. Still on the fence, but I think that would be a good combination to have 2 pours, same style, a little bit different with the different metals. Tell me what you think in the comments. Thanks, folks. Have a good evening.